Can I have that pillow? Could you do that for me, sir? I'm still having some back pain, Jules.
Yeah. Starting to get a pain in my ass.
Hey, some hot dogs for dinner.
Huh.
Yeah, faux farts.
We went to the fair today.
To get some hot dogs.
Callie got a vegan corn dog.
And?
She liked it quite a bit.
Is there a mock sausage in that tube? Or is it just like, it looks like a corn dog on the outside?
I mean, it looks like a corn dog on the outside, and it looks like
there's a wiener
inside, yeah.
I got a wiener in there.
I don't know what it is, but she seemed to enjoy it. I had some refried bean tacos. I went to the bathroom.
Oh, no. At the fair?
Yeah,
to
pee.
Like, is it all porta potties?
No. I mean, there's like...
It's a high-class fair. They have actual bathrooms.
Well, I mean, it's the fairgrounds, yeah, so there's
they
like...
got a shit and then a piss and
bathroom pavilions.
Okay.
Stalls, urinals, you know. Well, the guy in there, boy, so I don't know what happened. I was hoping and telling myself that it wasn't urine, but there was like an inch of standing water in there, and this poor guy.
Is those the shoes you wore there? I see.
Yeah,
still got them on
They're
your feet
still
right
wet.
now here in my house.
This poor guy working there. The bathroom, it's probably the size of this room. Right.
Okay.
All along the walls is just urinals. And then over here is like a sink. And the water is sort of propagating more towards the urinal side, right? And there's a guy in there, and he's got a squeegee trying to, like, move the water to a drain. The drain is, like, the size of, like, an average hamburger patty.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of this enormous room. And this guy's just trying to squeegee it into there. And it's, you know... I don't know if you're familiar with how drains work, but when you like move water actively over or towards them, it usually just goes right over. It doesn't just right in, you know. So I felt bad for the guy.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Jules. And we doing spookies.
We're covering 2018's Suspiria. Not so much a remake as a reimagining of the 70s version of Suspiria.
Right. And I believe, who was the original director? Do you remember?
Dario Argento.
Of course, from the Argento cheese family. The director of this one is Luca Guadagnino.
Famous. This is his follow-up to Call Me By Your Name. Luca
Guadagnino? Guadagnino?
Very Italian, I think.
Yeah. The original director, Dario Argento, did not like this.
I could imagine. I imagine it's much like Stephen King being furious about Kubrick's The Shining.
Well, he had an interview in 2016 where he basically said, either you do it exactly the same way, in which case it's not a remake, it's a copy, which is pointless, or you change the thing and make another movie. In that case, why call it Suspiria? So it seems like no matter what, he was not going to be happy with this.
I feel like this still feels like Suspiria, even though it's not the exact same plot.
I mean, I haven't seen the original, but from what I've gathered, this looks rather similar.
I think it's similar. It doesn't hit any of the same beats.
Yeah, the original was, I think, more vibrant in color.
Yeah, and this one's muted, cold
did not
colors.
Want to do that.
But they still nail like a real 70s look with the clothing and whatnot, like in some of the dinner parties amongst the witches.
Well, and Jessica Harper played Susie in the original Suspiria.
Is she one of the witches in this one?
She's the wife of Dr. Klemperer.
Oh, interesting.
Anka.
Okay.
And she kind of fibbed a little bit and said that she knew how to speak German, which she didn't.
Not so much.
No. So she had to learn it a little bit.
So I have seen the original, and I remember being not super into it, but powering through it, and it was worth it for one 5-minute sequence that was fucking terrifying, where there's a scary voice, kind of, within a room, but the character's invisible, and I believe the main character ends up, like, stabbing a witch to death, like, only finds her after she starts stabbing her? I don't know. That's the scary thing in the movie that I remember. That was really frightening, and the only thing I remember from the movie. Here's the plot for the 2018 movie starring Dakota Johnson and Tilda Swinton in 3 roles. A darkness swirls at the center of a world-renowned dance company, one that will engulf the artistic director, an ambitious young dancer, and a grieving psychotherapist. Some will succumb to the nightmare. Others will finally wake up.
Hang on a second. Tilda Swinton plays 3 characters?
She plays 3 characters.
Who's the third?
The third one is Tilda Swinton's sister, the Blob at the end.
Oh, that was her?
Yeah.
Oh, that was her sister? Oh.
Because they have that family portrait that's just the 2 of them.
I thought it was like that was her mother.
No, I think they're both the daughters of the
She played that person too?
Witch. Yeah.
How did you find that out?
I looked it up.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Surprise.
Because, yeah, so she played Dr. Klemperer, who is the fakest looking old man ever.
Yeah, you texted me right away. Like, methinks this old man is not an old man.
And the problem with that is...
The voice?
No. I mean, there are moments where you just see it in the eyes that that's Tilda Swinton. The problem with that is, knowing that, I'm watching this entire movie wondering what kind of crazy reveal there's going to be where we discover that she's been this old man the whole time.
Right. No.
No.
She's just playing 3 characters.
For no good goddamn reason.
None of them are a trick.
And they even credit Dr. Klemperer as being played by a person who has an IMDb page. Just this one acting credit. And it's immediately apparent to me, but it's even more so obvious that this, at the very least, is not a real old man when you see them at the performance next to other old people.
Yeah. Kind of looks like a dirty grandpa.
It very much
Grandpa
does.
Johnny Knoxville.
Very much does. And it's distracting.
Yeah.
I think it does the movie a disservice.
And we meet them right away.
Yeah,
At
immediately.
the beginning with Chloe Grace Moritz, Hit Girl.
Yeah. And from the mediocre Let Me In remake of Let the Right One In.
Oh, she's in that?
Yeah.
Does she play the vampire?
She does. Yeah, so she's like psychotic a little bit.
She's very manic, yeah.
Yeah, and she's the doctor's like a psychiatrist or something, and she's giving him her diary, and she's speaking in German and all sorts of shit about witches and such. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is clearly Tilda Swinton, who I'm pretty sure is going to be a witch, in disguise.
Yeah.
Like gleaming, like, what is this person? No. But that's not the case. And she vanishes after that.
And we're right at Dakota
Excuse me.
Johnson now.
Her name is Patricia. Yeah, Dakota Johnson. What is she doing? She's just coming into Berlin.
Yep. From her Mennonite farm in the middle of America.
I have some questions about that, but it's 1977 in West Berlin. And I think there's even, if I saw on here, a factual flub where in the beginning of the movie, they're chanting Free Meinhof, but Ulrich Meinhof was already dead by this point in 1977.
Way to go, Luca.
You know what I mean? They fucked up. So she gets to the school. It's a dance company. What is it? I can't remember the name of the witch. It's Blanc and Marika? Marcos. You know.
Yeah.
You so-and-so.
Oh, look, I did it.
So she gets to the Marcos dance company and she's like, I want to dance here. And they're like, well, look, we don't know who you are. You don't appear to have really any training or any history of note. The only reason you're here is because Blanc took some bizarre interest in you. So go ahead and dance, and then we'll call it a day.
She goes into the mirrored room and does a display of her dance moves. And they're like, oh, shit. Tilda Swinton shows up and is watching, too.
Does she hear it or feel it in another room and then makes her way in?
Maybe.
And I think there's even another lady who's blind, who's always sitting up in the balcony and looking over. Later, she takes the bread knife.
I don't think she's blind. I think she's a weirdo.
Okay. She hears it, too. She feels it.
Do you think she's blind?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
We see her at one point with her back against the wall, not in anybody's way. She has really big glasses on. I don't know, man. So Tilda Swinton comes in.
She's Tina from Bob's Burgers.
That's interesting because she looks just like that in here.
Yeah.
She even has this fucking round-ass glasses. And Tilda Swinton's like, yeah, you're in. So they're like, well, you probably have to go back to Ohio? Wherever she's from.
Sounds legit.
I think she says Ohio. To the other lady she meets, one of the dancers, like, oh, where are you from? Ohio. It's like, I don't know if anybody outside of this country would even really necessarily know what Ohio is.
No.
So she giggles. And she's like, well, I'm ready to go right now. I ain't got nobody.
And they're like, oh, that's great, man. Go
Cool.
to the dorms.
Because this girl vanished, and we don't know what happened to her, so you can have
wink.
her room. Yeah, because they say that she was a freedom fighter who left.
Which she'd rather be burning down department stores than dancing. They say that at one point.
Right. She'd rather be in the basement filling bottles with kerosene, I think is what she says. Blanc says that. That's my Blanc.
That's good.
So the girls sort of welcome her in. It's a academy where there's a couple of matriarchs, and then there's about a dozen students. And it's unclear if the students are really at all aware of what's going on there.
No,
they just
not at
think
all.
it's a dance school, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not aware of...
I think you can go off of Mia Goth's discussion with Klemperer later, where she's like, I have not seen anything like this. My life is normal there,
Because there's that one tall person when they're doing the jumping. It almost seemed like she gave her a look, like Blanc gave her a look, like, I'm going to take your jump and give it to her. And she kind of looked like she was like, okay. And then she had that seizure. Remember that?
Yeah.
So they're dancing in the first rehearsal. Not Susie. I forget what the gal's name is. She's dancing the protagonist. And they're dancing, and she's like, I can't do this shit, you hypocrites.
Oh, God.
Just blows up at him. You know what happened to Patricia, bitch. And she's like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. And so they're like, well, who's going to dance the protagonist? And everybody's like, I'm not it.
Dakota Johnson's like, me?
Annie? Anna?
Is that her name?
Annie? Anna? I don't know. She's like, I'll do it. Fuck it. And everybody's like, what?
You can't do that.
Oh, darling, no. I watched the VHS copy of your performance, and
yeah, I don't know if VHS existed in 77.
Probably not. It's probably reel to reel. And she goes, I've also seen you live a couple of times. Well, all right, if you want to give it a shot, you know. She's like, dance alone, though. Let me see this shit.
So this is pretty wild. So the girl that stormed out goes up to her room, gathers her things.
Yeah.
She's about to bust out of this place and stops to stare at a fucking window for like 3 minutes.
Well, two girls come walking by.
One of them's one of the witch ladies.
Is that what it? Did she put the spell on it?
Yeah, she hexes her ass.
Yeah, she looks at her.
She hung out at that window too long.
Laughs at her.
And then her eyes start just pouring tears, and she's stumbling.
I mean,
around.
it looks like semen.
What?
They're not. They're like, it's like goobers, not tears. It's like gunk.
Okay.
I mean, it's thick, milky, viscous. You knew where I was going.
Yeah.
You brought me there.
So she's like basically blinded by the cum pouring out of her eyes. And she's got
a real come hither look.
Instead of escaping the
Thank
school,
you, folks. I'll be here all night.
She goes into the mirrored room accidentally.
Right, because
she's immediately trapped.
Yeah, she can't see. She's trying to go down a fucking infinite staircase.
Yeah.
She ends up in the mirror room. She's like, no. The door closes behind her. Slams, actually. Pushes her in the room. And they tell the Anna character, I don't know her name, you're going to dance this to prove you can do it, but with no music, right? Now, what do you think about the dancing in this movie?
It's okay.
Yeah.
I guess I always thought it was going to be sexier. I was really waiting for, after seeing all that jazz, I was waiting for some real sexy moves.
It seems far more contemporary than it would have been.
In the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we didn't mention this. Tom York did the score for this movie.
It's nice.
It's his first scoring job. And it's appropriate. It's elegant. It's beautiful at times. The person that choreographed this movie did the choreography for his Netflix Anima project. You seen that?
No.
He did, his last solo record was called Anima.
Yeah.
And for that, they did a 3-song short film music video, and this person choreographed.
Radiohead lost me after Kid A.
It also kind of
never came back.
I mean, it's an okay record.
I mean, I think all that stuff's fine. I wouldn't listen to the whole album.
This more than because when you think about like Kid A and they got that song Tree Fingers.
Oh sure.
Where it's just sound and it's like helps pace the record, but at the same time, I don't want to just put on this track.
No, would you like to hear like 9 more Idiotex?
No, I would definitely not.
Oh, really? I like that song a lot.
It's okay. I like that How to Disappear Completely. That's a pretty good jam.
What about that motion picture song at the end?
It's okay.
Wow, those are my two big songs from that album.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't remember that one being like an actual song.
The motion picture one?
Yeah. I really like that Spinning Plates song that they do. I just sort of felt like the dancing was a little too contemporary and performance than a 1977 West Berlin dancing company.
Okay.
But maybe that's just me. I wasn't there.
You weren't, were you?
No.
Okay.
And so she's doing the dancing. And did you ever see the OA?
No.
You ever heard of it?
Yeah, I know. I know about you liking the
OA. You know that thing they do in there?
Yes.
This felt like that.
Okay.
A lot of heavy breathing. Weird jutting, arm tutting and shit. So she's doing the thing and everybody's like blown away. But at the same time, before she did the dance, Tilda Swinton touched her hands and made them glow. And then she touched her feet and made them glow. She goes, if at any moment, you feel sick, it's okay. And she's doing the dance, and at the same time, it's somehow beating up this girl that left.
Quite viciously.
Throwing her against the wall and shit, twisting her arm, twisting her leg. She's bruised. Her body's like pulsating.
Yeah, because her body gets like twisted and bent. So part of her ribcage is jutting out of her body.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrifying.
I didn't like it because it felt like arbitrary. Like there was never a specific maneuver that the girl was doing that then
corresponds with her being tossed.
Right.
Correct.
She'll do a arm thing, and all of a sudden she's flying across the room. But then she does another thing that's almost identical, and now she's just like breaking and shit.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it would somehow fit together like a puzzle, and it doesn't.
She'd stomp on the floor, and we'd see her get a stomp on her or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just too cliche, though. So she's fucked up. She's not dead, though. I thought she was dead.
She should be dead.
She pees herself at one point?
Yep, she's all... Oh, God, that's...
Looks like she pees out of her mouth.
This is like it's a long sequence of seeing
it's quite
Dakota
a bit of
Johnson dancing and this girl being beat up horribly, twisted and cracked and bent.
For the record, Dakota Johnson is really good.
Yeah.
Both in the acting department, but also in the dancing. She did a little ballet for this. She also said doing this movie, she had to get therapy afterwards.
What?
Because it fucked her up.
Why?
The process. I don't know.
Really?
I wasn't there?
Seems like a bit much.
And then she stops dancing and falls to the floor. And she's like, it's okay. I didn't want to throw up in your studio, Madame Blanc.
So my question to you right now is, did you get any kind of a spooky feeling?
No.
Really?
No. It's disturbing.
Yeah.
But it's not scary.
Okay.
In really any way.
I'm getting a little bit of a spooky feeling. This sequence or the movie in general?
Both.
Oh.
In fact, I thought, well, I'll get there, but no, I thought it's a little unnerving. Body horror isn't something that necessarily grosses me out, but actually yesterday when we were talking about the movie that we had watched the day before, we were eating dinner. We were talking about the lady at the end, the blob. I was like, wow, you know what? I can't eat this taco. Thinking about that blob lady.
She's pretty gross.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Did Kelly watch this with you?
She did. We watched it in 2 sittings.
Okay.
The first time we only watched like 20 minutes of it.
It's so long.
And she's like, I can't, she was working on a bike wheel. She's like, I can't pay attention and do this. So we ended up, that's when we put on Goodfellas. I went right into that because she'd already seen it. And, and then we sat down and watched this. And so she, why don't you go rest, Dakota Johnson? You did a bang up job. Then some of the ladies come into the dance studio with the mushed up girl, and they got these hooks.
Yep.
And they just start hooking into her, and they drag her ass out of there.
Into another secret door.
Uh-huh.
Not the same one she came in.
Uh-uh.
It's a different door.
Yeah, and there's just a huge streak of blood.
Yep.
I'm like, throw in some fucking tablecloths. Drag her out. I ain't gotta clean up the floor.
Nah, it's some witch shit, man.
And there's urine.
Drag her on these moon hooks.
Yeah. So I think they're Blanc and one of the other ladies. Oh, so then they do like dinner, right? Is that what they're doing the voting scene? Marcos, Blanc, Marcos.
Is there a lot of German in this scene?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so I didn't have subtitles till probably the last 90 minutes of the movie.
That's interesting because...
Well, no, I was watching a pirated version, and then I had to watch it on my phone for a while, so I just rented it on YouTube, and then I watched the rest of it on the TV. And the YouTube version has the appropriate subtitles.
With the coloring, because the German subtitles have like a red shadow, and the French have blue.
Oh.
Shadow.
I did like that adds to the 70s vibe to it.
I also really liked...
This whole dinner scene is a very 70s vibe to it.
Yeah, I also really liked the chapter title cards.
Yeah.
And how it sort of progressively got more claustrophobic and it was almost like a piano key, but it just stretches, and the titles themselves are kind of interesting. So then, yeah, they're all there's like, what, a dozen older women there?
Yeah, there's quite a few.
It's a coven. And so they're voting, basically. It's unclear, but at some point...
They're voting between Marcos and Tilda Swinton, right?
Yeah, at some point, I don't know if it's every night or if it's, every quarter or something, they just have a no hard feelings, verbal headcount vote to determine who's going to lead the coven. And typically, it seems to traditionally have always been Marcos. Even though she's just all fucked up. And she's got like little hands growing on her, we find out later and shit.
God. Yeah. The revoltingness of her body is quite insane.
I did not catch that they were sisters. So they vote Marcos. And I think Blanc even says, I abstain. I can't be a part of this vote. But we're not seeing Marcos, right? Pretty much the aunt, Hannah, maybe is her name. She's kind of slowly endearing herself to Madame Blanc. There's a real connection going on there. But all the while, Susie? I guess she's Susie. Susie Banyan.
That's Dakota Johnson?
Mm-hmm. And she's got dark hair in this picture.
Who's Mia Goth, then?
Sarah Sims. And she was married to Shia LaBeouf.
Really?
Mia Goth for a few years there. And she's got like 7 names. It isn't just Mia Goth. It's Mia Gypsy Mello De Silva Goth. She's slowly teaching her how to dance and trying to get her to jump because they're doing a new piece, even though it's an old piece.
Volk.
And the old man's kind of running around a little bit.
Trying to get the police involved.
Yeah, the police eventually show up, and one of the old women, who's really weird, that woman.
The blonde one?
Yeah. She's almost like always drunk or something. I'm Blanca. Come on in. And so then Susie's making friends with Sarah, who was friends with Patricia, and doesn't know what happened to her, not sure she's being told everything. And Blanc is working with Moleface to,
Who's Moleface?
She's got the dark hair. She does the counting when they're dancing. She has a mole
sure.
on her face.
Okay.
Hence the name. We are slowly coming to realize that they're grooming Susie, had been grooming Patrizia to effectively be the vessel for Marcos.
It's the movie Hereditary, but...
Because there's even a point early on in the second dance scenario where they bring Marcos in. Now, let me ask you this. Because they say you put Marcos in a closet so she could heal a gal or whatever, and we're seeing a finger.
Yeah, I didn't think that was I mean...
Is that the
thing at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly looks like it.
I assumed it was Marcos.
Yeah, me too.
And then when I saw the thing, I was like, oh, it looks more like that. But
the reference was clear that it's supposed to be Marcos under the floor.
I believe so.
And that thing, I don't think is supposed to exist until that moment.
Exactly. So, yeah, I thought that was Marcos. But Callie was like, no, that's the other thing. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it looks like the other thing, but felt like that should have been Marcos.
And is there some sexual energy coming up through the floor?
It feels like it.
Yeah.
She's writhing, grinding. And she's like, well, why the fuck did you... Well, she's ready. She says the gal is ready. She's not ready. But I don't know why I'm speaking French. They're not. They speak French. But she's like, Patricia couldn't handle it. We went too fast. We got to ease into it. But you can also tell that Blanc is kind of... trying to assert her will to subvert Marcos a little bit for whatever reason, specifically because of Susie. So then there's a scene where Susie and Sarah go down, because everybody's out on the weekends, to search through the files to figure out if they can find out anything about Patricia. They're not finding any. And then she's like, the other girl that just left, she's not in here either. I forget her name now. I never knew her name, actually. I didn't forget it. And while the girl's going through all the files, Sarah's going through all the files. Why do they both have S names?
I know, that's odd.
4-letter S names at that. She's going through all the files. Susie is hearing giggling.
Starts creeping around, taking peeks.
She goes into the room and she sees the police officers and 3 witches, and the officers are just standing there, and one's got his clothes off, and they're laughing at his wiener, even though it's
poking it with the hooks.
Perfectly respectable size. And she's giggling, but she, I don't think, understands what's going on, but also doesn't seem to be alarmed by what's going on.
I would think you should be pretty horrified.
I'd be like, yeah, like she's like, oh, they're having fun. It's like, these guys are in a trance. Clearly, they're hooking dicks. I mean,
yeah.
So the cops eventually leave. The old man goes to see them, and they're like, man, there ain't shit going on there. You think they're witches? He's like, well, I think some people can convince themselves of things, but that isn't necessarily always the case. Now, I've also been reading her diary, and it suggests that there's hidden rooms. And I liked the diary, because it was like almost illegible. Most people's handwriting in a quick, intimate way usually is. So the cops are like, whatever, dude. And he's going down the stairs, and the cop adjusts his dick. Did you see that? In his pants. He's like, have a good day, old man. And then he goes, we've met before. You helped me look for my missing wife.
Back in 1940 something.
Mm-hmm. Because of the war. And you helped me determine that she wasn't in Poland or something. And he goes, oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, he lets him know he's thankful.
Yeah. And he shuffles off. So they're dancing. She's having weird dreams.
They're infiltrating her dreams.
Yeah.
They're controlling what she dreams of.
I thought the dreams
are horrifying.
I thought they were perfect.
Yeah.
Fantastic, actually.
Sharp cuts of disturbing, photographic images.
They look gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
even though they're revolting imagery.
Some of it's just a farmhouse. Some of it's just a doorway.
Or the dying mom.
I mean, there's
cradling guts.
Yeah, there is.
Floating up the wall and humping it, grinding on the wall.
Yeah, that was something else.
Slashing at your papery skin.
Worms, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
So some of it is very disturbing and graphic. Other parts of it are just innocuous.
Subversive.
And it's fucking really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Up until this point, I'm really enjoying this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I am into this movie. I'm finding it creepy.
Mm-hmm.
The dream imagery is sending it into overdrive where I'm like, ooh, this is obviously the scariest movie we've watched for 4 spookies so far.
It's freak, you know? And it's also doing a lot of Italian camera work, which can sometimes be distracting, but I'm kind of liking it in here. You know, really weird arcing pans to people's faces and, you know, high up shots looking. I mean, the school is like fucking insane.
Yeah.
And they're right outside the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, I do like that they have the Berlin angle where the psychotherapist is traveling back and forth.
Mm-hmm. He lives on
side.
He lives in East Berlin. They're in West Berlin. He presumably works in West Berlin.
Right. Is East Berlin is the occupied area where you...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Well, and
without the proper papers, you can't leave.
Ihre Papiere. I don't have any papers. I lost meine Papiere. Ich habe sie verloren.
Yeah, and there's some graffiti. There's a lot of revolutionary shit going on. At one point, the doctor goes there and tells Sarah, come here. I want to talk to you about Patricia. And they go to have lunch or whatever. And she's like, you're full of malarkey, dude. What is he eating? He's got like a crust and it looks like a pie filling.
I don't know. Oh, no, I thought they were both eating pie.
She has pie.
I thought he was eating the same thing.
His is ringed, almost like a deep dish pizza, but he's eating something out of it.
It's a special pie.
It's big and disturbing, and I wish it would die.
I want some. I want some of that pie.
Her cake looked fine. And he even says to her when she gets kind of flustered and she's about to storm out, he's like, just, you know, eat your pie. It's okay. So she's like, these aren't witches. we're dancers. You know,
we just want to dance. Leave us alone.
Crazy, man. And she goes outside of the restaurant and she sees Moleface looking at her. And I mentioned this because A, it's a part of the movie. And B, in the background, we see 2 young guys walking by and there's like a army battalion or something stationed there. And they're just walking by giving him the finger. It's like, fuck yeah, you know, revolution. So she sees Moleface looking at her and she's like,
uh-oh.
You caught? And then a car goes by and it's not Moleface.
Oh, good. It's not her. It was her.
And the way the
She's
woman walks away, it almost feels like she's almost like, what am I doing here? Like she was being possessed or something. She's starting to get she's thinking about it, you know. Girls dancing, they're trying to witch her. Pretty much it jumps then to her trying to understand where the hidden rooms are, right?
But she's getting that from the diary, like the steps? Is that what's going on? Can you get lost if you don't count the steps?
She's in her room and she's hearing something from the wall. Goes out and there's a huge gap of just a blank wall between her room and the next room. I think so. She's like, what am I hearing? I don't know why. She counts from her room to the end of the building and then goes downstairs and walks into the glass room and gets like right up to the glass.
I assumed it was from the diary, but yeah, it's not.
Does he give her the diary?
I think he lets her read it at the place.
Okay. Do they meet a second time?
No.
There is one moment where the girls go out and they see the older ladies in a restaurant and that's the first time we're privy to their telepathy. But I think that's what that was, right? The telepathy.
I think all the kids are mesmerized, no?
Well, the kids are mesmerized, but we see the ladies inside, and they're having a conversation that's not the scene we're seeing. They're laughing, having wine, eating, and they're talking about Marcos.
But you think telepathy,
right? Because later it is established that they are telepathic. Yeah. So I think that's what that was, but I don't know, maybe not. So yeah, she finds the hidden room. She goes down some stairs, sees the portrait covered in like waxed hair.
I don't know. It kind of seemed like a living organism.
Yeah.
It was pretty gross.
For some reason, Marcos has her sunglasses on. Tilda Swinton looks
she blind?
young. I don't know. I thought it was...
Well, Marcos doesn't look as old as she is revealed to be at the end.
No.
Like maybe
How old are they supposed to be?
I don't know. Maybe there's supposed to be like a 25-year difference between the two.
See, because that's why I didn't understand. I assumed that was her mother because she claims she's been anointed or is a descendant of one of the 3 matriarchs. Suspiriano, something, and somebody else. But Tilda Swinton doesn't think that's true, right?
I mean, if you're like witches with powers, wouldn't you just believe whatever?
Yeah.
We got magic? Yeah, okay, you are them.
I also, maybe I missed it. I don't understand why she looks so gunky.
Well, she's at the end of her life cycle. That's why they need new vessels.
Why does she have baby arms? And
I mean, I assume it's like...
Why is she butt naked with sunglasses on?
Corruption from, like, the magic that she's using.
Maybe.
I mean, I think that's what they're trying to convey to you.
Because as far as we know, they've been around since the 40s.
Gunky.
That's what they say, the dance company. But
Yeah.
I guess I didn't pick up on how long they've been around.
I mean, it doesn't make a ton of sense as far as the age difference between Tilda and Marcos.
Mm-hmm. And then they just make the other people witches?
I mean, I think they're just like the leaders of the coven. I mean, I would assume that eventually they...
Witches just find each other? Because there's tons of them?
Yeah.
Or a decent amount of them?
The girls that dance, like if it didn't shake out the way it shakes out, it seems like Dakota Johnson would be obviously a candidate for witchhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
She seems to have a magic running through her.
Right, because Tilda Swinton imbibed her with the power, and the dance, I guess, was the spell that crippled that other person.
Which is weird, because it almost seems like Tilda Swinton isn't evil in this movie, but obviously she is if she's doing things like that.
Yeah, so she stumbles into this completely other part of the house. Before that, all of the women were having dinner, the matriarchs, and... all of a sudden, the Bob's Burgers woman just stands up, grabs a huge bread knife, and stabs herself in the throat twice. Now, this knife was long enough where it actually should have went through her. I don't think it did, though. And she just falls on the table and she's gushing blood. And they're all like, holy shit. Do you know why she did it?
I think she's probably upset at what they're doing. Like, that's maybe not what she signed up for. All these young ladies dying in front of them. Maybe they didn't set out to be evil witches, you know? It's a power thing. Like they're trying to remain in power, return Marcos to her full power by giving her a young body.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
When Susie first arrives, she looks upstairs and somebody looks over the balcony and real quick. You know who that was?
No.
I don't either. Because we see this particular person always in her chair, kind of on the top floor of the lobby. And so I assumed it was her, but then I thought, well, maybe it was either Susie or Patricia before they grabbed her.
I feel like Patricia disappears immediately after leaving the
I would assume so.
Office, yeah.
So I don't know who it was, but because this person's always just in this lounge chair by a coffee table.
Well, it seems like it'd be Marcos then, because she's always sitting.
Maybe it was Marcos, because they looked a little fucked
blob.
up.
Yeah.
So she's effectively dead, I assume. The woman who stabs herself in the throat?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know, they don't have magic to bring her back or anything.
No, it doesn't seem like they have that going on.
So the gal is down in the room, and there's just like a bunch of porcelain.
Disturbing shapes.
Boobies.
Vaginal,
Yeah. And she finds the hook, and then she hears the kerfuffle.
Yeah.
And peeks through the door, and I think that they've got the Bob's Burger lady. And they're like, oh my God.
Is that what you... yeah, I wasn't sure what was supposed to be happening there.
We don't see it.
Something upsetting.
I think that's what it is. They're all like, ah! So she closes the door, runs back, and grabs the needle and gets the heck out of there.
Yeah, I don't think you should take that.
No, anything. You're going to be walking down the hall in your nightie, in your silk kimono.
God, just...
with a big ivory hook.
Get away. Don't take anything. Just go.
Yep.
Maybe you think in your mind about how you need a night's walk. You know? Don't think any thoughts about escaping. Just like some fresh air on this witchy night. And then run.
Yes. Chances are you would have lucked out that they were all preoccupied with that they wouldn't be witching and sense your presence.
God, these witches are kind of scary, though. Who knows?
Marcos may have, but you would have had enough time to casually go back upstairs. First off, you're sneaking around. You need to be in your sneaking clothes, not in your pajamas and a silk kimono.
Yeah.
In winter Berlin. Shit hits the fan. You got to have your running shoes on, you know?
You got to have your go bag.
Yeah. Without limits. You got to get the fuck out of there. She doesn't do that. So she goes to meet the old man. I got the hook. Oh, no.
I like that's his reaction, like you shouldn't have done that.
In fact, leave it here. You can't have this. Don't let them know. I saw the porcelain titties and shit. So now they're about to do their big Suspiria performance.
We're already there.
Pretty much.
Shit, we're rocketing through this movie. Nope.
They do mention at one point, we need a witness.
Yeah.
And she goes, the old man is going to do that.
It breaks the minds of the young women.
So then I was like, so it's not Tilda Swinton. I mean, you know, her character.
Yeah.
So she's just the old man? What? And so they're putting on like rope attire.
Yep.
And they tell... She learned how to jump. We saw that. And I want to say they did the telepathy thing before
Tilda Swinton and Dakota Johnson?
Yeah, before the performance.
Yeah, they have that talk on the bed with no words, just mind talking.
Mind talking. And she goes, you know what? I'm not going to send any dreams to you tonight. You earned it. So apparently she's at least privy to something. She's got powers of some sort.
Well, and then what about the old man's enchantment that comes up? Because the old man doesn't just show up at the...
No. Yes. So...
Or wait.
He goes to...
Sorry, I got the timeline messed up. I thought
he buys a ticket
Yeah.
and goes to the performance. So they're all getting ready. She's painting her face, Susie. And everybody's like, where's Sarah? I don't know. She just was here and now she's not. So then we see Sarah creeping around. And like there's a wing in the house where it's like a bunch of wiring and mesh for some reason. And she stumbles upon Patricia, who's just ragged.
Yeah, but she's
So
like a
blue
ghoul.
Yeah.
Milky eyes, saggy tits.
Mm-hmm. You think those were her tits or...
No, she's wearing a
fake tits?
bodysuit. Yeah.
I mean, she looks like a prune.
Yeah.
All the while...
Well, what about... There's somebody else down there, too.
with no hands or feet.
It's got to
Wristing
be
around.
It's got to be that broken dancer.
It's got to be the
right?
broken dancer. Yeah.
Why are there no hands or feet?
I don't know.
I didn't know about the hands, but I saw the feet that there was no legs.
Yeah, it was
really.
half
legs.
Yeah, it was kind of disturbing.
Stump running.
So she's like, Patricia, and she's like, you gotta get the fuck out of here.
Is that what she says?
Something to that effect. And then the Stumpy comes up and, what? Oh my God. And, she runs away. And as she's running away, they're getting ready to do the performance. And where's Sarah? I don't know. It's like a 6-foot gap in the line where she should be.
It's a very large gap.
As she's running through the hallway, the floor.
Swiss cheesing.
Yeah.
Dark holes are opening up almost like blood pools.
And she steps into one and her
femur.
Is it the femur?
Her bone in her leg.
Her shin bone.
Her shin
burst right through her skin.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Now, it's hard to tell if it's just a hole or if it's like a mass because she's sitting there with her foot still in the floor, but it's not like moving, up and down like in a hole. And when they come to get her, it's almost like they have to pull her out of it. So these ladies show up. I think Moleface and a couple other ladies. And look, I'm not trying to shame anybody. I have moles on my face.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
Okay.
And they do a maneuver on her, like the Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
And heal her leg.
Yep. No more.
To some extent.
Well, it looks perfectly fine, right?
It looked marked, like reddish.
Okay.
But then they do something to her face and like...
She's hypnotized.
Mm-hmm.
This is where she's got that look I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, she's got like cat eyes or like zombie eyes. And she's all like pale and she doesn't look like she has eyebrows either. And look, I'm not trying to shame anybody.
I think she almost never looks like shit.
She almost looks like Samantha Morton.
What's happening over here?
I don't know, dude, but you better get your act together.
Whiskey?
He just drank a whole liter of whiskey, by the way. Cheap shit, too.
Yeah, Thompson. Old
disgusting.
Thompson brand American blended whiskey with natural flavors.
So they're doing their dance in their rope attire.
Man, they're really dancing it up.
It's not that great.
Yeah, I don't really like it. I actually thought the dancing was going to be quite amazing.
I did
when
too.
they finally got to like the big number, it's going to be like, wow!
Yes.
Danced, yes.
I mean, not to like sound stupid, but I'm expecting like some step up level of like dance and choreography.
It's like, bro, we just watched all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah.
Give us the good
This
shit.
is all that ass.
I don't know what to say.
No. So they're dancing, and then all of a sudden, Sarah comes in and starts dancing.
With their weird, glossy, hypnotic, milky eyes. Like
Right.
in Train to Busan.
And, it's a slam bang of a humdinger of a number.
But she starts getting a little sloppier as time goes on.
She does. And then her leg explodes again.
Yeah, what's up with that? Weak powers?
I don't know. Maybe the telepathy comes after that. Because I'm pretty sure Susie says she basically was doing something to Sarah, but she couldn't control it.
Like some sort of a spooky type of feeling? Or
Yeah.
did you hear that segment? Have you heard that? You say that in the Changeling episode?
What is it?
Where at the very end, you ask me, you say...
Did you get any weird spooky feelings at all?
Did you hear that in the edit?
I mean, I'm sure I did.
Oh my god, it's like the funniest line I've ever heard in my life. I have to isolate it to play for Jenny because we were talking about it last night. I just keep laughing.
There's been a couple that have caught me off guard that I gotta go back to and listen a couple of times. So now we're at the point where they go out to dinner. Everybody's out at dinner. Susie's looking real Adele in this moment. You know what I mean?
No.
Like Adele. You know who Adele is?
Yes, I do Adele.
She was the way she looks now, where she's almost like in her Celine Dion face, she was looking like that. Just real red in her hair and real bouffant, dark makeup and a classy blouse.
Okay.
And she's at one end of the table and Blanc's at the other. And they're just fucking having a mind meld. And everybody else is doing their thing. She even says, like, you don't want something to happen to me because you love me. And Blanc's kind of feeling it. So, after dinner, the old man, he's on a walkabout. He goes home to his little shack. And his wife comes out. Anka Joseph.
She's been missing for 30 years.
Yep. And she gives him the rundown. You know, I got kidnapped. I couldn't find my papers. I think she even says something like, you didn't believe me or something. Or later on they say that. I don't know. I got kidnapped. I got abducted. I went to jail and I got out. And
I thought you were dead.
They told me you were dead. So I made a life for myself. And it was a pretty life. But
this is so sad.
Then for some reason she comes back. And so they're just walking. They cross the checkpoint and they're having he kisses her at one point and it's so tender and he's so old. She's looking much better than he is. And all of a sudden they're outside the dance studio. He's like, what the fuck?
And she's gone.
Turns around. Nobody's there. Turns back around. Ah! Women are shrieking and running at him.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
You know?
Please have mercy on me.
I've done nothing wrong.
You had 4 months to get your wife out of there. We have no mercy for you.
Yep. I think I think they say something like, she told you shit was about to happen and you didn't believe her.
How do they know this? It's amazing. They're perfectly psychic. Just dive right into his brain.
Fucking Jedis, man. I don't know. And he's naked, by the way.
Not now.
Laying on the ground.
Later.
What do they do with him?
I mean, this is still when they're like grabbing him and dragging him in there.
Oh.
He's not naked until we see him again.
A few minutes later. The very next time we see him.
This is when the fucking movie's about to pop off. This shit's crazy.
So they're like, all right, enough dicking around. Marcos is about to take this Susie chick for a test ride.
Let's get Dakota Johnson out here in her see-through shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see her panties or is that her pubic hair?
We originally see her nude from behind. In her bedroom. You could bounce a quarter off her ass.
Yeah, you think so?
So then, she comes sauntering down in a see-through gown, which I thought it was panties, but then I thought it may have been bush. It's hard to say.
Looks great, though.
Yeah, she's, a pretty attractive young lady.
I say cool.
Very much so.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, all of the other chicks are dancing butt naked.
Yep.
And there's one really thick one that...
They're all like, they're hypnotized. They're in a frenzy.
I assume so.
Mesmerized from the dinner or whatever.
Yep. They're doing their OA thing. The older witches are wearing like hair gowns and are cutting out the guts of Susie, Patricia, and now... Patricia, the girl we don't know who got slam danced.
Stumpy?
And Sarah, yeah. They're just cutting out their guts.
It's horrible.
But they're alive still.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But they're also hypnotized.
Yeah, and they're doing like...
Their guts fall out and they don't even notice.
Just some slam poetry and it's like... chicks are naked. I mean, it's...
The guts are used as like everybody's holding a little pile of meat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the old man's just like laying nude on the floor. Marcos is in a chair with her sunglasses on.
Just a otherworldly blob.
Yeah, like something out of that... Dan Aykroyd movie where he's a judge.
Oh, that's good. Nothing But Trouble. I was going to say it's like a radioactive 100-year-old overweight woman with like Total Recall things happening.
Yeah.
It's like, there's little like half-formed baby floppy hands hanging out of her arms.
Yeah, and like
her neck is all wide and gelatinous.
Like she's transforming into Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, and she talks like
and Tilda Swinton's there in her red gown and Susie comes in.
I've always found Tilda Swinton to be otherworldly and kind of scary and bug-like.
In that moment?
No, in life.
I'm saying.
In general and everything I've seen her in.
But in that moment?
In this movie, I thought she was looking kind of cute.
Yeah. In that moment where she's in a red gown, I thought she looked, very attractive.
Yeah.
She's an interesting looking person, I think. I loved her in Constantine.
Okay.
It's Gabriel. The ritual's about to start. Susie comes sauntering in.
When Jules and Jason go,
yeah, swing.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
Yep, and
that's some real data reference. This is old guy talk.
Well, and it's funny because Tilda Swinton, she's like, Marcos is like, are you ready to accept me? I'll be in ya. And she's like, yeah. And Tilda Swinton's like, now you know.
Are you sure about this?
And she's like, you don't want me in there. And she's like, something feels wrong. You don't feel that?
There's something relatively horny about this whole sequence.
Oh,
too,
absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nude women thrusting about.
Well, no.
Hairy dresses.
Very specifically, Dakota Johnson's welcoming of joining with Marcos.
Mm-hmm.
There's like I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a seductive, horny vibe to this body melding setup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could be also her outfit. I don't know. It's
could,
very sensual.
It
Julian.
could be the
Boner City,
the rising stimuli for what's about to happen. Because turns out Susie ain't who we thought she was.
But first, we have to 95% behead Tilda Swinton.
Yeah. Tilda Swinton, she's like, you know what? Shut it down. We're done here.
And Marcos does a hand wave, and Tilda Swinton does a hand wave, but Marcos's hand wave chops off most of Tilda Swinton's head, so there's just blood spurting out.
The back of her neck.
The back of her neck. It's a very interesting. It
severs her brain and spinal cord.
It's lovely, though. The shot is quite fascinating.
Yeah, it's not something I've seen before.
All the shit that pops off now, like, it's visually, like, somebody said we need to film it this way with this color gradient to make it otherworldly and scary. All the shit that's about to happen is very interesting.
Now, that may have been their intention, but I think pretty much the rest of this movie is cartoonishly silly.
Oh, wow.
And stupid.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. Turns out, Susie... Now, I
just hit myself in the face with the microphone.
Yeah, man. The revelations are coming at you quick.
Yep.
Susie... What's her deal?
She's the mother witch.
Right.
She's their mother.
But was all that Mormon shit, did she become her, or that was just made up?
I think that she is the reincarnation of their mother.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she grew up there, and that her mother knew that there was a darkness in her, a witchiness.
We saw her masturbating in a closet.
I think that the mother knew there was something wrong. I think she was Susie.
Because you kept thinking about Berlin.
Yeah.
When they're doing their studies.
She's being drawn there. And then only at the very end.
Does she know? At the very end?
I think it's slowly creeping up to the full revelation.
Okay.
At which point she's in full power.
So she's like, who anointed you, Marcos? Which mother was it? Suspiria. Or whatever. That's Suspiria. Which, I don't know if you noticed, in the very, very beginning when she's on the tube, there's a sign that says Suspiria. Like the stop name or whatever. So although they didn't actually say it.
It kind of said the name of the movie in the movie.
It was written.
Fuck.
And she goes, no, I'm that bitch. Right? And does she kiss her? She does something.
I think she like sucks her soul out.
And Marcos just
deflates into, yeah.
She turns to Moleface, turns away. Moleface just like,
oh my goodness, I'm going to be spared.
What the hell? And then she starts going around the room. It's like real
wait.
Doesn't,
no,
yeah. The demon.
Yeah, the demon. She calls the demon of death.
Like fucking something out of a Guillermo del Toro movie.
Oh, this shit's great.
Comes walking up.
Oh man, but they just show like chunks of it. Oh, I love it.
Fountains of gore just spraying about.
And Dakota Johnson's clearly the queen. The demon, no threat to her. It's her tool.
Anybody that voted for Marcos, off with their head.
Pop.
She walks over to the gutless chicks, and she's like, what do you want? I want death. And she kisses them or whatever, and they die.
Could they have opted for not dying? Because, I mean, my whole feeling has been they're not able to revive people or repair people.
I want my guts back.
Yeah, why did they all die?
I don't know. So she kills them. I don't know, man.
And then releases the dancers, because the dancers have done nothing wrong. The few of the coven that didn't vote for Marcos.
Now, there was a moment where Moleface goes over to Blanc and puts her head back, and she's alive, right?
Yeah.
But then, cut forward after this massacre, in which we also see the girls are still dancing in the blood, but nobody's like bloody.
Yeah.
There's no blood splashing around. I thought that whole sequence was really stupid.
Oh man, I loved it.
And
I didn't expect it. It's not where I thought things were going to go. It was quite crazy, but I was like, "Well, this is a wonderful turn." Is this what? Did you see *Malignant* with Ben?
No.
I thought you guys went to go see *Malignant*, the James Wan movie where.
No.
Oh well, I felt like this is probably what *Malignant* is like at the end.
I feel like it's appropriate, and I don't have any problem with the story aspect of it. I just thought it looked really, really silly.
Oh man, I thought it was neat.
I thought it was very silly. So then fast forward the next day, right? We see Tilda Swinton's still alive, but all of the girls are coming down like, oh man, I was so drunk. I don't remember anything. Or know why only half of us are here. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry, Madame Blanc. Retired. She's gone now.
We don't see Madame Blanc outside of the place where she got her head.
No.
Okay.
So I'm like...
Is she in that pillar at the end? I feel like she's in that pillar.
What pillar?
Oh, you didn't watch... Okay.
The post-credit?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't... There's a post-credit?
Yeah, it's terrible.
What?
But they don't show like a pillar with like a carving on it at one point at the very end?
I'm pretty sure it just goes from the classroom directly from that to Yosef's house.
Yeah.
And there's just like young people living there.
Young people living at Yosef's house?
Yeah.
I think it's just a housekeeper.
Oh, they usher Yosef out. He's all disheveled. And the lady's singing. I think he's under a spell at that point.
Yeah.
She's like, you're going to go home. And so then it cuts to the house. And there's a young gal there doing dishes or something outside, doing something. And a guy walks by and there's another guy. I don't know.
I don't know either.
And then it very slowly closes in on the heart that they carved in the wall. And that's the end of the movie.
That's what I thought was the pillar.
Oh, yeah, it's just a heart.
Okay.
The end, on the corner of the wall, the house.
Maybe him and his wife carved it in
They did. It's a heart. It goes on either side of the corner in A and J. He touches it earlier in the movie.
She erases his memory. She says the Dakota Johnson comes there.
Yeah.
She's, Queen Witch. She talks to him and she
He's in
reveals that your wife, I thought you should know that when you, how does it go?
She was captured and she lived for
20 days.
20 days in this camp. On the 20th day, the guy in charge wanted to do some sort of
an inspection on all of the people in the camp.
So he made 20,000 people stand out in the freezing cold. And
is she like one of 20?
One of several dozen or something, she said. She died, she made friends, and she died comforted by those women.
She wasn't lonely. Her dying thoughts were of you.
Mm-hmm.
And your first date.
And so now you will not remember Patricia? I'm guessing Sarah? She said another name.
I really like the line, we need sorrow and shame, but we don't need yours.
Right.
That's
you won't
great.
remember any of us. And
I know, I thought he was going to die.
I did too. I thought because he was holding a knife the whole time, I thought he was going to.
She's not evil, right?
No.
Like, there can be witches, and they don't have to be evil.
She's what they need.
Yeah.
Marcos, for whatever reason, maybe men, became corrupted and misguided.
I mean, I honestly think it was just trying to live forever is what got her. I think they
could be. Although,
I think they turned towards evil, trying to find her replacement vessels.
But so
because why would they be killing ladies or destroying ladies prior to that? It's only to
I don't understand
create a
that
vessel.
Because Tilda Swinton, obviously, if it's her younger sister, isn't literally as old, but pretty damn close. And she doesn't seem to need a vessel or have baby arms, and it looks like a Chet from fucking Weird Science.
But maybe that's all that dark power coursing through you is corrupting you.
Maybe. Although it's never apparent, other than trying to find a young girl to be in, that they've done anything nefarious or all-encompassingly evil.
But they do seem kind of like bad ladies.
I mean, they
not Tilda,
kind of seem like drunks and, busybodies.
I don't know. They seem mean-spirited with that cop.
Well, but
picking on the psychotherapist, teasing him about his wife.
Yeah, they're catty.
Assholes.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Whatever it was, that one stabbed herself in the throat. She's done.
Disgusted what the coven has become. Because it should be fighting against evil.
Yeah.
The post-credit scene is like Dakota Johnson, like walking up to something, like smiling and touching with her hand, and then cuts. It's like 13 seconds long.
Why would they have a post-credit scene?
I don't know. I thought it would be more, and then it wasn't.
I don't think anybody would expect, or possibly even wait around
Could you call Dakota right now and ask her what she thinks that's about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she's just waiting in the car.
Oh.
Yeah.
This whole time?
Yeah, I make her wait in the car while I do this.
We've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
So you didn't find this movie spooky?
God, it's already 11:30. No.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
God damn, the imagery, the tone. Do you find it to be the spookiest of all 4 we've watched?
I guess. Only because so far, I mean, Train to Busan wasn't spooky.
No. Changeling, yes.
I think its intentions were to be spooky.
Yeah. But I mean, the vibe.
I mean,
Spookier than Prince of Darkness?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm hard pressed to find anything spooky, to be honest. That ship sailed decades ago, my friend.
Well, I felt some good spooks. I wasn't scared, but I was like, this is creepy.
I wasn't raptured.
This is some shit.
I mean, there were times, Callie was kind of making some cracks here and there, and I was just like, wall, I'm here. I'm liking this movie.
Yeah.
You know, I'm liking the way it looks. I'm liking the things in it. I'm liking some of the dancing. I'm liking that Tom York. It gets a little silly at the end, and I love the dream sequences. I thought that reminded me of the Tarsem movie.
The Fall,
where it's so visually striking.
Excuse me, would you like to cry? Fire up The Fall.
Yeah. You want to see a guy jump a horse? All right.
I can't remember the movie at all.
There's that horse
I
jumper.
remember I cried hard.
Yeah.
Is that Lee Pace? He cripples himself?
Yeah.
And the little girl?
Yeah.
They tell stories to each other?
Yep.
You know what movie I don't like? The Cell.
The Cell, yeah.
We've already talked about this.
No, but I assume that's where you were going because it's...
Those are the 2 Tarsem Singh movies.
Yeah.
Did they do The Immortals is like Alex Proyas, right?
What's
Did
The
Tarsem
Immortals?
Singh do? Remember you were talking about The Immortals, but I was like, no, you mean The Eternals?
Oh, The Eternals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's The Immortals.
The TV show?
No, it's a movie. It's either Alex Proyas or Tarsem Singh.
I would imagine it's Alex Proyas. Yeah, as far as I know, Tarsem, like for The Fall, he filmed that.
Over years?
Yeah, piggybacking on like commercials and shit. But they made a sequel to The Cell. I never saw that.
I'm sure it's real good.
Yeah.
So you didn't get really a spooky feeling. You were impressed with it. Where do you put it on the spookometer?
I'm assuming everything thus far has landed around a 3.
Yeah.
I'd probably put this there too, just to be generous.
Really? Okay.
No, there wasn't anything unnerving or frightening or anything in here.
Jeez, man, I give this movie a 5 easily on the spookometer.
I don't even think Callie was really that spooked out.
Really? Gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Jenny.
Yeah.
Oh, man. She's just like, I don't like this. She gets that look on her face.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, fuck, I fucked up trying to get her to watch a scary movie.
You know what you should do? You should get a movie and splice single scenes of Chucky in there. See what happens.
She won't sleep ever again.
Just psychological warfare on your partner.
I don't want to do that.
No, but we're gonna be there watching some Child's Play.
Yes,
Chucky. I don't know what he even looks like.
You and I are going to watch the new Chucky. It doesn't have anything to do with her.
He looks different, I assume.
Yeah, he does look weird. So I give it a 5. You give it a 3. Where do you give it on the movie scale?
I'll land firmly with a 6.
6?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
In hindsight, I quite enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, man.
Even while watching it again, it did not feel its length. And it's about an hour longer than the original.
I'm going to give it a 7. I felt like it was relatively powerful.
Awesome.
It takes a minute to get into it, man. But boy, it really does get creepy. The imagery is great.
Mm-hmm.
I really got a kick out of the end. I was just like, what the fuck? Is this a video game? This is insane.
Yeah.
It's a scary devil video game at the end. Okay.
The effects were very nicely done.
Yeah.
It just, the way, like the things dancing around, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
I say Nito Frito. All right, that's our review of 2018 Suspiria. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and give us a phone call. Tell us to go fuck ourselves if you didn't like it, or you really liked it, or you think the 1970 whatever version was much better.
I think.
Yeah.
Because this takes place. Oh.
You want to step on our heads because Dario Argento is better than Luca Guadagnino?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah. Joel really likes the original.
Yeah?
He's an Argento freak.
Did you see Call Me By Your Name?
No, he did.
Okay. God bless.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Fucking send us some pumpkins at We Doing Filmographies on Instagram.com.
You know, speaking of pumpkins,
Yeah?
I carve one every year.
Damn.
And after one day, the squirrels have just demolished it.
Oh, really? That's fast.
And I'm looking down the block. Everybody else's pumpkins? Fine.
You know what you should do? Dress yourself up as a scarecrow and have a hammer, right? Lay down right by the pumpkin. Every time a squirrel gets on the pumpkin, you fucking grab it and beat its brains in.
I should.
Yeah.
Last year, I even used a clear spray paint and coated the whole thing.
That should do it.
No.
Didn't do it.
They just kept eating it.
That pumpkin must be delicious, right?
You know what it is? It's probably because of the walnut tree next door.
So they're like, oh man, these nuts are... Oh, there's a fucking pumpkin.
They're just giving this shit away.
It's smiling at me, wants me to do it.
So we're on Instagram.
We're
doing filmography. No.
We doing filmographies?
We doing filmographies.
Do filmographies on Twitter.
Yep.
We doing filmographies at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We doing filmographies on YouTube.
That's right. Hey, you know what? Go ahead, be my friend on Facebook. Just kidding. We can't be friends, but you can befriend the page.
Yeah, you can follow it or like it.
Like the page. We doing filmographies.
Yeah, and you can like post comments on there, you know.
Yeah, fucking. Why don't you email us? Why don't you call us?
Mm-hmm.
763-634-1897.
Jules and I are over here just throwing 10, 20, 30 bucks at advertisement campaigns. We got like 12 likes on Facebook now.
You throw us $10-$30, we'll call you up and wish you happy birthday.
We will. That sounds fine.
Yeah, why not?
Do you live in Minneapolis?
Yeah. We can't do long distance.
We'll come eat a cake with you.
Oh.
I don't want to do that, though.
No. I don't want to. No.
Tune in next week for The Void.
Oh.
Shit.
Oh.
Is it gonna be spooky?
That one's gonna be spooky, methinks.
Nah, Jules says that ship has sailed.
I've already seen
Nothing spooky. Did you watch it?
I seen it years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
But it did kind of freak me out.
See you next week.